In today's world, it's easy to believe that the more friends you have, the better your life will be. Social media constantly bombards us with the idea that friendship equals happiness, success, and fulfillment. But what if the truth is more complex than that? What if, in order to truly grow, we need to step back from the noise, silence the distractions, and at times walk alone? The reality is that the journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth can often feel isolating. It's a path not always understood by those around us, especially when we begin to realize that we must shed external influences to hear our own inner voice. This isn't about rejecting human connection, but about embracing the deeper, sometimes painful truth. Solitude can be the crucible where our greatest transformations happen. There's a misconception that we need friends to validate us, to confirm our sense of worth. But the truth is, in the pursuit of self-actualization and spiritual awakening, this kind of external validation can hold us back. The journey is painful because it challenges who we are at our core, pushing us to confront our fears, our insecurities, and the parts of ourselves we've long ignored. In these moments, being alone isn't a weakness, it's an essential part of the process. So, what does it mean to not have friends? It means having the space to focus solely on your own growth, without external influences clouding your judgment or pulling you away from your path. It means having the freedom to redefine yourself on your own terms. Today, we will explore how solitude can actually be a powerful tool for personal and spiritual transformation, and why sometimes having no friends can be the most important step in your journey toward true self-realization. Stay with us as we unravel why embracing solitude might just be the key to unlocking your fullest potential. In the world we live in, there's a prevailing belief that friends are essential to our happiness. We're taught from a young age that friendships are a cornerstone of a fulfilling life. From school days to adulthood, we often measure our worth by the number of friends we have and how many people surround us. Social media amplifies this illusion, showing us idealized images of friendship and connection, creating a pressure to fit in and belong. But in reality, this is an illusion. External validation, no matter how fulfilling it may feel in the moment, is fleeting. The truth is that no amount of praise, attention, or approval from others can truly validate who we are. Our worth is not defined by how many friends we have or how well we are liked. When we constantly seek approval from others, we're outsourcing our sense of self. We rely on external sources to fill the void within, never realizing that true fulfillment comes from within. The more we seek external validation, the further we stray from our true essence, and the harder it becomes to discern our authentic desires, goals, and purpose. This is where the importance of solitude comes in. By stepping away from the need for social approval, we can begin to reclaim our power. When we remove the noise of external expectations, we can focus on our own internal compass. This isn't about rejecting social connection or cutting off everyone from your life. It's about recognizing the difference between healthy, authentic relationships and the ones that simply serve to fill an emotional void. Solitude, when embraced consciously, becomes an opportunity to reconnect with yourself and heal from the pressure of constantly being validated by others. It's not easy, though. The first step in this journey can feel isolating, even painful. It's a loss of something familiar. Friendships that may have been based on superficial connections or expectations that no longer serve us. Yet, as we let go of these false forms of validation, we make space for true self-awareness and self-worth. In this space, we begin to realize that we are enough, without the need for anyone to tell us so. The path to spiritual growth requires us to break free from these illusions and turn inward. It's only when we stop seeking validation from the outside world that we can begin to hear the quiet whisper of our own inner truth, guiding us toward the life we are meant to live. Being alone is not easy, especially in a world that constantly pressures us to stay connected. The loneliness that comes with solitude can feel like a deep ache, as if we're missing something essential. It's important to acknowledge that this pain isn't something to fear or avoid. It's part of the process. The journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening is often painful because it forces us to confront the parts of ourselves we've been avoiding. Without the distraction of social connections, we are left with ourselves, our fears, insecurities, doubts, and unresolved emotions. It's only in this space that we can begin to heal and grow. The pain of solitude can feel overwhelming at times, but it is precisely in this discomfort that the most profound transformations occur. When we face ourselves in this raw, unfiltered state, we can begin to peel back the layers that have been built up over time, layers of false beliefs, fears, and self-imposed limitations. As we work through the discomfort, we come face to face with our true selves. This pain of solitude is temporary. It is a necessary part of the journey, a catalyst for growth. It teaches us to be comfortable in our own presence, to trust ourselves, and to cultivate the inner strength needed to face the challenges that lie ahead. The more we allow ourselves to feel this pain, the more we begin to understand our own depth and complexity. By embracing solitude, we create the space needed for self-reflection and healing. It's in this space that we can access our true power, our authentic desires, and our highest potential. Solitude is not about being disconnected from the world. It's about reconnecting with the most important relationship we will ever have, the relationship with ourselves. But being alone isn't the same as being lonely. In fact, there's a vast difference between the two. Loneliness is a feeling of lack, of emptiness, while being alone is an opportunity for self-reflection, healing, and growth. When we choose to be alone, we create the space for introspection, allowing ourselves to deeply understand who we are outside of the influence of others. This is where true transformation happens. When we are alone, we can heal wounds we didn't even realize we had. We can meditate, journal, and connect with our higher selves in a way that is impossible when we're constantly surrounded by other people. Solitude is not a punishment. It is an invitation to step into our power, to rediscover what makes us whole, without needing validation from anyone else. This might sound intimidating, but it's through being alone that we discover the depth of our inner strength. It is in these moments of solitude that we realize how much potential we have to grow, to change, and to evolve into the best version of ourselves. We learn how to rely on our own wisdom and intuition, and we begin to trust ourselves in ways we never did before. In the early stages of practicing solitude, it can feel like a daunting challenge, especially when you're young and navigating a world that places so much value on social connection. But this journey into aloneness is exactly what opens up the space for your deepest discoveries. You get to explore your thoughts and feelings without the influence of others clouding your judgment. Many people shy away from solitude because it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar, but it's exactly this discomfort that is the gateway to personal growth. When we face our own thoughts, fears, and insecurities head-on, we're able to confront and heal them in ways we can't when we're distracted by others. Solitude allows us to come face to face with the rawness of our being, and in doing so, we begin to find peace and clarity. When you're not bound by the expectations and judgments of others, you are given the extraordinary opportunity to redefine who you are. Most people go through life unconsciously shaped by their environment, society, family, and peers. But in solitude, you are free to break these molds and discover your authentic self. In our everyday interactions, we often wear masks, adjusting our behaviors to fit in with those around us. We become so entangled in social roles, whether it's as a friend, a student, a sibling, or a coworker, that we lose touch with our true essence. But when we step away from these roles and the influence of others, we are given the chance to examine who we really are without any external validation. This process of self-definition is not about creating a new identity from scratch. Instead, it's about peeling back the layers of falsehood and illusion to reveal the true self that has always existed beneath. It's about stripping away the expectations, fears, and limitations imposed upon us by society, and reclaiming the power to be who we were meant to be. Solitude creates a fertile ground for this type of transformation. In quiet moments of reflection, you may realize that many of the things you once thought were important, approval from others, societal success, or conformity, are not actually in alignment with your soul's true desires. Solitude provides the space to step away from those things and to ask yourself, who do I truly want to become? It's a deep, empowering question that can only be explored in moments of stillness. Through solitude, you begin to understand that your identity isn't something that's fixed. It's something you have the freedom to shape and redefine on your terms. You are no longer bound by the limitations of external labels, and in this freedom, you become more whole, more genuine, and more connected to your authentic purpose. When you're alone, you are forced to face yourself, your fears, and your insecurities. There's no one else to rely on, no distractions, no external support systems. And though it may seem daunting at first, this is where true growth happens. In the silence of solitude, you learn how to overcome your inner battles. It's where you confront your self-doubt, your insecurities, and your weaknesses head-on. And through this process, you discover that you have more resilience, more power, and more courage than you may have ever realized. Solitude is often where we learn how to navigate life on our own terms, without needing validation from others. It is in these moments of isolation that we begin to trust ourselves, to make decisions independently, and to stand strong in our own truth. No longer swayed by the opinions of others or the noise of society, we begin to understand that the strength we seek from the world has always been within us. This process of self-reliance is transformative. As you face your vulnerabilities alone, you realize that you don't need to be constantly surrounded by others for your self-worth or to feel complete. This realization is liberating because it breaks the chains of societal expectations and opens the door to a more authentic version of yourself. You become your own source of stability, your own sanctuary. In moments of isolation, there are no distractions to drown out your inner voice. It's just you and your mind. And in those quiet moments, you gain clarity. You start to hear the whispers of your true desires, the essence of who you really are. These moments of introspection are essential for personal growth because they give you the space to understand your own needs, boundaries, and values. Without the noise of the world, you're able to tune in to your intuition, which is often clouded when you're constantly in the presence of others. By embracing solitude, you learn that you are not defined by the challenges you face, but by your ability to overcome them. In the quiet, you discover a well of strength that you can draw from in every area of life. You realize that facing difficult situations alone doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong in ways that being surrounded by others could never achieve. This process doesn't make loneliness less painful, but it shifts the way you view it. Instead of seeing it as something to escape from, you begin to see it as an opportunity to connect with your own power. In the space where no one else is there to lean on, you learn how to lean on yourself. You understand that you are capable of standing strong, weathering the storm, and thriving in ways that others might never understand. It's in this solitude that you discover that you are your own greatest ally. You're not just surviving, you're learning to thrive, one quiet, powerful moment at a time. Solitude is not about being weak or abandoned. It's about discovering the incredible strength that lies within you, waiting to be unlocked. In the end, the journey of solitude is not about isolation for the sake of being alone, but rather about understanding that the greatest transformation comes when we are able to fully embrace our own company. It's in these quiet moments that we are given the space to become more attuned to ourselves, to heal from past wounds, and to grow into a stronger, more self-reliant version of who we are meant to be. As we face challenges in solitude, we uncover hidden strengths, shed the layers of doubt, and develop the resilience needed to navigate life on our own terms. It's not about rejecting the world around us, but about learning to stand firm in our own truth without depending on external validation. We learn to trust ourselves and become more confident in our choices. The practice of embracing solitude, however painful it may seem at times, is a powerful tool for personal and spiritual growth. It teaches us to become our own source of support and strength. And in this process, we come to realize that we don't need others to complete us. We are already whole. By letting go of the need for constant social validation and embracing the lessons of solitude, we unlock the true power that lies within us. This path may not always be easy, but it is the one that leads to the most profound form of empowerment. The ability to stand alone, be true to ourselves, and embrace the fullness of who we are without fear or shame. So, take pride in your journey, for it is through solitude that you will uncover your true potential, your unshakable strength, and the deepest connection to the authentic self. And remember, the road to personal empowerment starts within, where you have always had the power to shape your destiny.